I think our cities are just not planned the way they should have been.
Yes.
It's strange to see that the New Delhi section of Delhi,
Okay.
which is Lutyens Delhi,
Okay.
that was done by the English at that time, the British,
Okay.
still does not have the sort of traffic jams you see in the rest of the city.
Okay.
And the roads have not become wider by an inch. They're the same as they were when Lutyens designed it.
Okay.
So there is something
How
to
is it?
think about.
There was something in the planning at the start. You mean?
I think it was about not designing for years, but designing for generations.
Okay.
We have stopped designing for generations now.
Okay.
You can see a 100-year-old building that you can repair and make usable for another 50 years. But you cannot take a 35-year-old building and make it usable for another 35 without almost rebuilding it.
Okay.
That is because we've just become cheaper and faster now. Building that you can repair and make usable for another 50 years. But you cannot take a 35-year-old building and make it usable for another 35 without almost rebuilding it.
Okay.
That is because we've just become cheaper and faster now. That's what I feel.
This is the result of just modernity and commercialization of the economy.
I think it's just that the world has changed so much. I as an architect, will not spend the sort of time I probably should spend on a project of a certain scale that I would have done maybe 20 years ago.
Okay.
Because clients who wanted something done in a week now want it done overnight.
Okay.
And everybody is doing it, so I will do it as well.
Okay.
Want it done overnight.
Okay.
And everybody is doing it, so I will do it as well.
Okay.
And cost pressures have become higher for development, all those things. I think it was a lack of planning at that time, maybe 30-35 years ago, when our cities could actually have been planned and we could have made a difference through planning, because most of the cities in India that have actually felt the boom, and as well as probably some cities in Ethiopia which are now feeling the boom, have developed in the last maybe 20 years.
Yes.
So they have developed from
In a
1
culture
million,
of rush.
yes, 1 million to 5 million in 20 years. I don't think you can foresee that. But the thing is that if you design for a generation, you can be better equipped to deal with that change. If you, what ends up happening is that we design a 2-lane road when the traffic requires a 2-lane road, then we expand it to 4 lanes when 4 lanes are required. The thing is,
we can design it in a manner that we can
exactly. If we design
yes.
for 6 lanes,
Yes.
we can probably go longer without problems, because every 5 years, if you do construction for 2 years,
Yes.
that's much worse than doing it at one shot and letting it go.
Yeah. Now the problem is, how can we plan with proper consideration and deliberation, and with proper concern in a rush? The momentum is keeping us running, and you are telling me that we have to plan it for a longer period and with due consideration and
I think this is a very interesting
with
question.
serenity.
Very interesting question with absolutely no proper answer that I can give you. But I feel that the rush that you mentioned,
Yes.
the generation now of designers and planners are familiar with the rush,
Yes.
familiar with the speed.
Maybe they are addicted to it, I think.
Probably. So the advantage is that they can deal with that, and they have seen the sort of change in their youth to these cities, so they know what can happen.
Yes.
So I feel that 30 years ago planning was not done probably the way it should have been done, but now planning should be done, and for the next 50 years.
Okay.
And I am so sure, especially after looking at the students yesterday,
Yes.
that this generation is ready.
Yes. Yes.
Just start listening to them.
Yes.
They have the answers. They may not know how to tell them to you,
Okay.
but they have the answers. Get the answers out of them and work on those answers. That is what we always feel, that the students are the freest, purest
Yes.
intellectual power in architecture that is available.
Yes.
They know nothing about fees.
Yes.
Thank God for that. They know nothing about fees. They
Yes.
know nothing about politics.
Nothing about rules.
Exactly. They know nothing about complications.
Yes.
All they see are the purest form of a problem, and they are able to attack the problem and find a solution.
Okay. So you are telling me that it's very optimistic, and I also share this opinion of yours. provided
Definitely.
that we give them due regard and respect,
Definitely.
and provided that we know that there is something in them, and give them the room to bring it out.
Absolutely.
And let me finally talk about. I have seen a green building on your.
Yeah.
And I love that building. That's one of the ways that we can keep our cities green.
Right.
Tell me something about this green buildings. I have seen trees on your buildings.
Yes, there are trees on our building.
Yes.
Actually, growing an actual tree on a building is not necessarily as green as in the sense of
ground.
construction, for the simple reason that you have to make space for the mud for that and so on and so forth.
Yes.
But as a gesture, I think it's an important gesture.
Okay.
However, our buildings in our firm in general, and this is a view shared by both our LA office and our Pune office, is that buildings need to not only look green. If they look green, great, but they have to be green.
Okay. In
Uh,
what manner?
Be green being, as I mentioned before, that learn about systems that can make your building green. Everything from the materials you use
Mhm.
and to the processes, the electricals, the plumbing, and the water management,
Okay.
all these things. So a building that looks like a building that is concrete and glass cuboid can be absolutely green, and one can
You mean that it's responding to the environment
it has to
and
it has to.
friendly,
Exactly.
with a proper dialogue
just
with the
just like with
environment.
a human,
Yes.
the looks are not that important.
Yes. What you are inside is more important.
Is more important, and so the balconies with green and the flowing landscapes and so on that you saw were gestures more to
Appearance, more of appearance.
they were not to make the building green, but they were actually to merge it more into the fabric of the site rather than a sustainable initiative.
Okay.
So it was more of a contextual response rather than a bid towards energy efficiency to run chillers for the air conditioning. So it's like an energy loop,
Okay.
things like that, and we are using building automation in a big way
Okay.
to save on energy.
Okay.
So
you
these
are
are things.
involving electrical and mechanical engineers in your projects, I mean, or environmental engineer.
We
How
have
could architects be just expert in this issue.
The thing is that again there is the 30-year thing that there was a time not too far back when architects could design the building and say this is the design.
Yes.
The rest is not my problem.
Yes.
I think those days are gone.
Okay.
Architects-
These are the bygone days. Yes.
Absolutely. Architects need to necessarily be aware of every bit of what goes into their building.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Like.
everything from the basic system of air conditioning, they don't need to design the system, but they need to know what the system can do, what available systems can do, and what they want the system in their building to do.
Okay.
They need not design the system.
Okay.
That's very scientific, and the right people will do it.
Okay.
But we need to be aware of air conditioning, lighting, electricals,
Low energy systems.
absolutely,
energy
electricals,
main-
yes,
okay.
materials, and we need to be aware of safety code, which is so important.
Okay.
Firefighting is something that in our countries we pay lip service to, but thankfully in India now we have a national building code that we follow, which is an amalgamation of the best building codes in the world right now.
Okay.
So I'm sure Ethiopia either has one or will be getting one soon enough.
We are not. Yes.
But,
we are not that serious in this issue also.
Yes. So, for example, any building that we design, whether in Hargeisa or in New York, we will follow the
same
codes,
rules.
and we will make sure they are enforced on site.
Okay.
They are enforced on site.
Okay.
And to enforce a design and systems on site, you need to be aware of the system. So, as I said, the architect has to be aware of all this.
Okay. That's very interesting. Finally, if you have anything to tell for young architects and young boys who want to be architects, if you have anything to inspire them, for those who are already in the line of architecture,
Right.
what do you advise them? What's waiting for them at the marketplace, and how should they deal with it? And the young ones who want to come to architecture, what do you have to say?
I think architecture is one profession that anybody can become an architect. Anybody can become an architect. Everybody's opinions on architecture are equally valuable, because anybody who walks past a building is a potential customer of that building, a user of that building. So his opinion is as important as anybody else's. Keeping that in mind, you can become an architect. Anybody can. But to become probably a good architect, you have to be passionate about what you do. And as I was telling you yesterday as well,
Yes.
that when I saw the work that the students had put in yesterday,
Yes.
that is one thing that I was not worried about,
Yes.
in terms
Yes.
of
Yes,
passion
we
for what they do.
Yes.
And the only advice I can probably give you is love what you do when you're doing architecture, because if you don't love architecture, then there's really no point in it, because there are hundreds of other professions that pay much better.
Okay. Yes.
So
You have to love
that-
it so
that's-
that it could
yes.
love you back and
Absolutely.
respect you back.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Pranav.
Yes.
We had a very nice time together. I would like to thank you.